Hey there, Cozy Babe, and welcome back to the most autumnal corner of the internet. My name is Chloe Taylor, and today we are going to be getting some gentle guidance from your spiritual team. And I just really feel like right now the world could just really use this, some gentle, nice time where we are just letting ourselves kind of decompress a little bit. I would encourage you right now, if you haven't done so, get yourself your favorite beverage or something cozy. And just, if you have something you need to do right now, it's okay. You can just let this play and get on with your task, or, sit down and have a moment of presence for yourself. And I'm really excited to get into this reading. I feel like the idea just kind of came to me randomly and I was like, I got to film this right now. So I'm excited to get into it for you. If you already know how pick a cards work, then let me tell you, this is pile 1. Pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. If you're not familiar with how this works, allow me a brief description for you. So if you've never done this before, basically you're going to choose one of these 4 cards that is present here. There is a description box down below, and in the top pinned comment, you will find basically like a time jump to whichever pile you selected. You'll find a little timestamp that you can click on to go to your specific reading. The most important thing to note is that you can never choose wrong. So some people like to listen to the entire video, all 4 piles, and then make a choice. Some people like to pick whichever they saw from the thumbnail. They knew which one was for them. Maybe your favorite animal is present today because we do have some sea critters. It could also be that your lucky numbers are present in the timestamp. There are so many different ways to choose from how you want to choose, but just know that you're never going to choose wrong, and it's okay to choose multiple piles. So that is what I have for you. Go ahead and make your selection. I would encourage you to pause your video right here. And now we're going to get into it, starting from pile number 1. All right, so pile number 1, obviously you got this card first and foremost, which says back on task. Be sure you are using your time to the best possible manner. You might consider reviewing your goals, your schedule, or project you are working on. All could use some fine tuning. So I honestly think with right now, if you feel like you've been on edge or things just have been feeling a little chaotic for you, maybe you've been really in your head, your biggest piece of guidance from this reading thus far is that it's time to actually pour your attention back on task. And I know that that can feel really hard. Trust me, I am somebody that has ADHD. Staying on task, are you kidding? We don't even know what that means. Okay. But I will say something that has helped me, and it might help you, is whenever I feel like I can't focus on anything and I'm just like frantic, I will tell myself, I'm just going to try this thing, whatever it is. If it's watching a movie, doing a jigsaw puzzle, cooking dinner, getting back into creating a video or a podcast, whatever I'm doing, I will tell myself, I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. And in these 20 minutes, I'm just going to try to get invested in this task. And if the 20-minute mark comes up and I feel like I'm still not invested, this is my cue to go try something else. Because I also think sometimes we get stuck in that like analysis paralysis state where we have too many options in front of us of things that we can do. And if you're anything like me, I'll start to stress out about that. I'll be like, oh my gosh, there are too many options. What if I'll get sad about not being able to do everything, which we were never designed to do that. So I do feel like this could be a nice exercise for you to try. Just pick one thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Give it 20 minutes. And if at that 20-minute mark, you're still not invested in the task in front of you, decide that you're going to go try a different task, try something else, try a different hobby, a different task. But ultimately, I feel like this card is a little bit of a call out in the sense that it's letting me know that you haven't been as focused. Maybe, like I said, you've been spiraling a little bit. And please know that that is so normal. You are not alone. Many people spiral, myself included. It's a very common experience. You are not alone. But there are things that you can do to kind of shift yourself out of it. And that would be, this is the first practice you're being asked to utilize, is to just try to focus on a different task. Okay, we also have for you the card of Dancing in the Rainbow, which says, break free from whatever you feel is holding you back. Express happiness. Find out what you truly desire. So I feel like, and I will say this forever because I feel like it is just so true. In today's world, happiness is such an act of rebellion. And it's so sad. I feel like that is the truth, that when you see somebody like happy and truly living in peace and in their joy, it can actually invoke like anger in some people that don't feel like they have that. Joy and happiness is such an act of rebellion. And the thing is that I think a lot of people have really lost touch with in today's society is that we forget that one person's joy can actually ripple and make like a massive effect on other people realizing, oh my gosh, I can just choose to live in my joy. I can just choose. Sorry, my cat wants to come in and say hello. I hope you don't mind if you can hear him. This microphone does a pretty good job of drowning out external noises, but he is my Gemini child. He is a Gemini sun and he has the mouth for it. Let me tell you, he's everybody's favorite though. So when he visits our readings, I used to try to shut him out of the room and I've decided that he's just a part of our channel now. Okay. His name's Archimedes. If you ever hear a cat meowing in the back, 9 times out of 10, it is him. Okay. Anyway, so if you hear him, he's just here. He's just present with us. Anyways, as I was saying, he was just really drilling in that point for us that, happiness is a choice. And I know that can feel like a slap across the face, but it is. You have the power in any given moment to choose how you want to feel. And yes, there might be external circumstances that are completely out of your control. That's not the point. You're not supposed to control external circumstances. You are meant to control how you respond to those external circumstances. And in any given moment, you can choose to be happy. You can choose to reconnect with gratitude. You can choose that. I'm not telling you that it's easy. I'm telling you that it's possible. And you're being told, and you were led to this reading. I also want to point out that both of these cards have rainbows in them. So like you might be somebody that is part of the Pride family, which I love. Myself too. Hello, welcome in family. If you're part of the LGBTQIA plus family, hello, welcome. This is a safe space for that. But the rainbows here also signify to me that joy, that radiance, that happiness, that self-expression, right? And I really get the sense that like a lot of the energy you might be feeling, it also needs a place to be expressed. So if you are somebody that likes to sing, dance, shake it out, write it, paint it, create something. I will die on the hill that humans are creative people. Like every single person on the face of the planet is a creator. And even if they're not making content, if you're not making, I'm not saying it has to be your job or your career, but every single person on the face of this planet has a desire to create. And when we don't create and we don't express, I think we actually snuff out a major part of our humanity. And so creativity is your birthright, and you're being asked to basically reestablish that. Okay, let's keep going. Here's a couple things that might be hidden from you right now because we're using the Below the Surface deck next. And the card that you got, first of all, is the Great White Shark, which says, go for it. Strike while the iron is hot. And then we also got Marbled Electric Ray. You are electrifying. Allow your talent to do the talking. So I really do feel like I might have hit the pile for the creative person. Like if you're somebody that is a natural creator, or maybe you are, but you haven't been letting yourself express that very much lately. I really feel like this is just another confirmation that this is your pile. And if you are somebody that is like creative, or if you are part of the LGBTQIA plus fam, please leave me like a rainbow emoji in the comments. I would love to say hi to you. I always love to see who shows up. I always like to, even if that's the only thing you put in the comments, I always love to see who shows up and respond back. But ultimately, you are being told to reconnect with this and to go for it. So maybe there's a reason that you feel like you can't or you shouldn't, or, there's so many reasons why any creator can feel that way, like their work isn't good enough or they're not worthy enough to do it, or, and those are real blocks, right? I'm not just trying to glaze over how you feel. Those are real blocks that are meant to be worked through. They're not supposed to roadblock you for the rest of your life. They are opportunities to work through and get to the other side of, because the only way out is through, right? But I feel like strike while the iron's hot, allow your talent to do the talking. I think you just need to hear this, pile number one. What if you allowed yourself to express yourself completely and fully in like written form, painting, whatever your medium is, doesn't matter. Whatever feels good for you, like go for it. But what if you challenged yourself to do it like nobody was ever going to see it? Because I think that really is the thing that gets in most creative people's way, is they start to make something for an audience or with other people in mind. Or what if my mom sees it? What if my dad sees it? What if this family member sees it? They'll disown me, or my friends will laugh at me, or, what if you started to make things just for yourself and like no one was ever going to see it? And just to let yourself have that expression, because I really feel like this is something that's kind of been keeping you from accessing that gentle energy, that relaxed state, is you have all this pent up energy that's not going anywhere and it needs to have an outlet. Okay, then we also have for you the card of Align Your Life, which says what is not in alignment or needs change. So I feel like, honestly, this is it. This is what needs aligning. This is what needs changing. This is what is needing your support right now, is your creativity. And it makes you feel like a fractured or shattered version of yourself when you don't express this. So this is your sign. This is the encouragement to do so. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit different that I haven't done in a really long time in our readings. I do it every month on Patreon, but I don't know why I stopped doing it on YouTube, because it's, I think, such a fulfilling thing. Medes is back. Did I say his name is Archimedes and we call him Medes for short? Medes is back. But we're going to read from Ceremony by Brianna Weist. We're going to do a little bit of what is called bibliomancy, where I flip to a random page and I give you the message that is for you. So, you got a long one. So we're going to do this one, which is page 70. And it says, how to change your life. Read a book. Sorry. Let me start that over. How to change your life. Read. A book you read this weekend can change your life for decades to come. If you can't read, listen. Find podcasts, speeches, essays, anything that opens your mind and makes you consider something you didn't before. Decide what is going to matter to you. Pick a few things you're going to devote your life to, and let go of everything else. Study the greats, the ones who have walked the path before you. Draft a vision of your highest potential future self, and then trace the elements of their lives back to where you are right now. Embody them slowly. Notice what makes you most envious. This is what you truly want. Notice what makes you feel most regretful. This is what you need to do next. Write down 3 facts you'd like to be true about yourself and repeat them to yourself every day in the present tense. Be ambitious. Remember that the way you saw life lived was not how existence must be. Let yourself grieve. Get rid of the clutter, both mental and physical. Draw outside the lines. Break the chains. Remember why you came here and what you were meant to do. And that is your reading pile number 1. All right, pile number 2, if you chose the Take Note card, it states, your answers are being given to you. Quieting external voices and excessive noise will give you the chance to hear what is being offered. And then you also have the card of Polite Declaration, which says you can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It's time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. So I feel like right now, the gentle guidance you're being given with this reading is that you do need to get to a place where you're quieting down a little bit, because I feel like you are in a space where you don't feel like you quite have direction in your life, just like in this moment. You don't feel like you have a ton of direction, or maybe it feels like you don't know what you're doing. You're feeling a little scrambled. Spirit is ultimately saying that first, you need to get quiet with yourself and like literally block out time. So this means to me, if I were going to do this in a very practical, grounded way, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. Even better if you just turn it off. Put it on airplane mode, turn it off, turn off your computer, laptop, etc. Close the door in your bedroom or your office or whatever room and space you have to yourself. If it's the bathroom, go into the bathroom, okay? Take some quiet time for yourself. Sit down. Whether it's, on a closed toilet, on the ground, on your bed, in a chair, sit down, place a hand over your heart and over your belly. Take at least 3 deep breaths slowly. We're not doing fast. It's not a race. And preferably in this space, have a notebook and a pen handy and let yourself just feel your breath. And then pull out that pen and paper and write whatever comes to your mind. Even if it's like Big Macs, it doesn't matter, write whatever comes to your mind and write for at least 3 pages. Whether it is a short story, you're just writing about your day, you're writing about what's stressing you out, you're writing, maybe you immediately get a download and you start just writing something that you're like, I don't know where this is coming from, but here it is. It's even better if whichever hand you write with, you hold your pen in the air and literally say, Spirit of the highest love and compassion, or Spirit of the divine, or God, the universe, whatever you believe in. Please write to me and through me that which I am meant to receive at this time. And it's really important that you don't question, that you don't get really in your head about it. Just put the pen to paper and let yourself write, even if it's shapes. No matter what, the goal here is to get 3 pages minimum. If you've got more, dang, keep going. But I always feel like the first and second pages for me are often just like a brain dump of everything I'm stressed out about. And then the third page is like where the real magic happens. And that's when I start to get conclusions or answers or divine guidance. And the reason I say that this could potentially work so well for you is because you literally got the card of take note. So I think of this as taking notes, right? Then you have polite declaration, which this is about just moving, but you don't have to necessarily move fast. You can decide in this moment that you want to commit to one goal. Let me give you a practical example here, because if you didn't know, my readings are a little bit different than most tarot card readers because I am a story healer. I'm not just a psychic, I'm a story healer. And I believe that through sharing vulnerability, through sharing our experiences, our stories, our trials, our tribulations, we actually can set other people free from the things that they are experiencing if it is similar or if they need guidance. So allow me to give you some practical examples from just my own life. Sometimes in the world of content creation, because y'all know I'm a content creator, I make a YouTube videos here. I have a podcast that goes out every single week. It's called the Cozy Babes Club, by the way. If you want to give it a listen, it's here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the above. Every single week, new episode. I have a podcast that I'm working on. I have my social media accounts. I have a Patreon that I run. And sometimes I can get really in my head about everybody's farther along than me. Everybody is more popular than me. Everybody is doing their thing and they're doing it so effortlessly. And what am I doing wrong? And this is so normal in the world of content creation. I think almost every creator feels this way to some degree. And the thing is, if we are constantly waiting for that viral moment, which let me just tell you something from my own perspective. If you're somebody that is a content creator, I feel like I always get at least one pile for y'all every video. If you're waiting to go viral, don't get me wrong. Virality is a beautiful thing. Okay. My YouTube channel here today, the reason that it is what it is because I had a viral moment, but it's the virality in my experience, having experienced this multiple times, because before doing videos here, I was making gaming content and I went viral multiple times in the gaming niche. The thing about virality is that it's beautiful in the moment, but in the long term, it does not last. And What does last is you staying committed and showing up for the goals that you have set for yourself over and over again. Now, this doesn't mean that you're a content creator. This could be for anything in your life. The things that you're like, oh, I want the house. I want the millions of dollars. I want to get married. I want to fall in love. I want to have kids. I want, whatever it is, whatever you feel like you're lacking right now. There is a path to get there. And you don't have to spread yourself so thin and do everything perfectly and everything quickly in order to get to that goal. You can just decide with polite declaration that you're going to work towards one of those goals, one thing that you want to accomplish, and just show up for it. It doesn't mean you have to do it perfect every single week or every single day. Consistency isn't perfection. It is showing up each day, even if it's 10 minutes at a time or 3 hours at a time. It's showing up every day. Another way that this can look, that I can give you one more example, is I used to have really black and white thinking when it came to workouts, routines, structure, my personal physical health. And something that I've learned in recent history is that consistency doesn't look like going to a swim class 5 to 7 days a week. Consistency looks like one day during that week, I'm going to wake up and go, you know what? I don't want to work out today, but instead of going to that swim class, I'm going to get on my walking pad for 10 minutes. That's my goal today. If I can do 10 minutes on my walking pad treadmill, I am going to that is enough. That will keep me consistent in my workout routine. And also I don't work out 7 days a week. I work out maybe 6 days a week. But my point is that I used to have this black and white thinking that if I couldn't do the workout class every single day, or I couldn't walk for an hour every single day, I wasn't going to make a difference. And the thing is, walking for 10 minutes on one day, sure, it's not going to burn as many calories. You might not build the same muscle, but that's not the point. The point is you're building a consistent habit with yourself. And when the habit becomes something that you do so consistently, it becomes this ingrained thing that you feel weird if you don't do it. And even just 10 minutes, it's not about that specific day making such a dent in what you're trying to do or accomplish. For me, I am focused on weight loss at this time, but for somebody else, it could just be working out for pleasure, working out, getting to a place where you do it just so you enjoy it, right? Being more active. I would say that is my overall goal, is to get there. And so having that consistency and showing myself that it's good to move my body every day. It feels good. And I'm grateful that I can, especially after breaking my ankle. I broke my ankle over 4 weeks ago. And after that experience, let me tell you, I will never take walking for granted ever again. But my point is that you can just decide to do this in a polite way for yourself, a slow way, an easy way. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to do 75 hard and do all of this stuff. And if I don't do it this way, I need to be rigid or it's not going to work. No, it's okay to just do things one thing at a time. You don't need the virality. You don't need this super hack to do this thing. I think modern media, especially with the rise of AI, is really trying to get us all conditioned to believe that everything has to be hard and we have to be so locked in, as they say. And the reality of the situation is that you don't. It's okay to be gentle with yourself. Okay, next up we have for you, your inner world is safe. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful message. Embracing all your emotions to create a state of flow. So I think this is something, oh my gosh, and look, this is a walrus. I think this is more of a seal, but they look really similar. And I think it's funny that there's two, and then there's two here as well. They look like they're playing. What a synchronicity. This is a reminder for you that it's okay to feel how you feel. And it is only in how we attach ourselves to our emotions by way of creating a story about them that makes us suffer longer, because we go, oh, I can't feel sad, or why am I crying? Or, why do I feel like this? When you just allow yourself to be you know what? I love and accept myself, even though this is how I feel right now. And it's okay for me to feel this way right now. It's okay for me to honor this emotion right now and to let myself feel it all the way. And it's honestly, most often I find when we try to shut the door on how we feel and we try to numb it out with substance or with, distractions like social media, when we don't allow ourselves to just sit with it, that's when things start to get overwhelming and we start to feel like we don't understand why we feel the way we feel, or we don't know what's wrong with us, when in reality, your inner world is safe. It's okay for you to be there. It's okay for you to feel how you feel. And maybe you just needed to hear someone say that to you today. Okay, we also have for you the flower hat jelly, which says your routine matters. Are you content with it? So I think it's funny that this came up and I was talking to you about like building like workouts basically, but your routine right now really matters. And eventually, I know I keep saying it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a tease. I promise. I just haven't decided how I want to do it yet. I have this like printable document that I made that I use for myself all the time. That I feel like is really good if you have like ADHD and you just want like a really basic routine checklist for yourself, as well as like a space for goals that you're working on each day. Because if you're anything like me, I got to gamify my whole life. Otherwise, like I'm not getting anything done. But it helps me to commit to a routine, even if it's simple, even if it's just like part of that routine, is brushing my teeth in the morning and taking my, I have a medication for my doctor said allergies. I don't really know how I feel about it, but there's like, basically I have these like little things that just go in my routine, for you, maybe you have contacts and you got to put those in. I feel like if you're somebody that struggles with that, with having this like even small structure in your life, which is a very real thing. Some of y'all are like, Chloe, what the hell? You don't brush your teeth every day? Like if I don't write it down and check it off, no, I won't. Like I did not have parents that trained me to behave that way. They didn't drill in how important that was because they were very neglectful. So I have to like be the parent for myself still to this day and like remind myself why that's important and like make sure I do it. And I know there are other people out there that struggle that way. In fact, if you're somebody that is resonating with this, can you please leave me? I don't think we have a jellyfish emoji, but if we do, leave that. If not, give me the toothbrush. Even if you're somebody that like confidently brushes your teeth every day, no problem. Just please don't leave me hanging. Okay. Let me know that there's more of me out there. There's more of you and me out there. But I feel like your routine right now would really, really benefit you. So even if it's just like a few small habits, it doesn't have to be waking up at 5 a.m. and drinking a green juice and walking every day. Like it could literally just be, your routine can be comprised of like 3 to 5 small tasks, making sure, let's say, for example, it's brushing your teeth, taking any medications in the morning, washing your face, putting on a cute outfit, or even if it's just like clean pajamas, which is also acceptable in my opinion. Sometimes, like, I think just changing out of what you slept in is always a good idea. Even if you go into more pajamas, that's fine. And then making sure you get like 30 grams of protein at breakfast. Like that could be the perfect little slice of morning routine that you need in your life. That's what I mean. Like, I think that you need to be taking a little bit better care of yourself. And even if it's just a small, simple routine to get you going, I think the important part is that you build rapport with yourself, because that's really what routines do, in my opinion, is they teach you to trust yourself and they build rapport with yourself when you continuously show up for them. Okay. And then lastly, well, actually we have something else too. This is not lastly. We have the card of protection for you, which does say, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. So this isn't to say that you are unsafe, because you literally got a card that talked about safety. But I do feel like maybe you have been a little bit careless about your protective rituals. So this could be like, using things like ethically sourced sage, Palo Santo. This could be using incense. This could be literally just standing and envisioning a white light coming down and cleansing your aura. This could be, I'm just trying to think of other, like you can use Florida water. That's one that I really like. There are so many ways that you can do protection stuff. And honestly, like, you look up videos on YouTube. There are so many people that have made videos on this stuff already. I want to say I have a video somewhere where I've done this at one point, but it was like years and years and years ago. And I think it's still available on my channel though. I don't know. Anyways, with protection though, you're just being advised at this time to protect yourself. So I would say energetically with the things I suggested there, or any other way that you like to do it. And if you know a good protective thing that I didn't mention, share it in the comments to let somebody else know what they can do. Like help a sister out, you know? I would also say this is about protecting your peace in more than one way. So this might be lessening your exposure to the news. You know, I'm not saying to make yourself uninformed or to not connect at all, but maybe saying, you know what, I'm going to check in on that in a week. If you have the privilege of being able to do that right now, I think that would be very beneficial for you. Just to decide to unplug a little bit, get reconnected with yourself, and build a routine that works for you. Okay, now we're going to do a little bibliomancy for your reading. So we're going to flip to a random page in this book and you are going to get a message that you need to receive. Okay, I'm going to read both of these because they're short. We have page 112 and 113. So we have, I know that this is hard to believe, but right now, this is the before. This is the beginning of the story for which no ending yet exists because it has not been written. This is the before. This is what you turn back to and look upon with grateful eyes, realizing that every step set off a ripple effect that culminated into the truth of what you knew your life would become. You are not the end result of the years you spent struggling to find your way. You are just getting started. And then we also have, please don't lose another precious moment distracted by the thought of who you could have been. There are no past potentials, only what was and what became of it. Only what is and what will soon be. And those are the messages that I have for you today. All right, pile number 3. If you chose this pile, first and foremost, we have the Love Where You Are card, which says, use your sensitivity to know when to act. Connect your heart to your head when determining what you would like. And then we also have Shared Inspiration, which says, throw yourself into a new project. Be willing to let go of time constraints and rules and really be aware of whatever fulfills your heart. So that's really interesting. I feel like you are definitely getting a message of focusing more on yourself, being a little bit more selfish. And I always say selfish as a term of endearment. Trust me when I tell you, if I'm ever speaking about you, it is always going to be with love, because I asked somebody, if you didn't know, my readings are different than other readers because I am a story healer, and I believe sharing authentically and vulnerably your stories has the potential to heal humanity, whether it is my story or your story. In my own life, I was conditioned from a really young age to believe that I was selfish, and I was called that numerous times. To the point that as an adult, I remember like questioning it finally and being like, why do you say that? And the person, my mother, who I questioned, couldn't even give me an answer. It was just something that like, she was like, you have to promise me you won't get mad. And I was like, I'm not going to promise you that. Like, I'm not going to promise you that it won't upset me. You're speaking about me and not even giving me good reason. Like, nah. But I was told that a lot, and it took a lot of deprogramming and deconditioning to put that behind me. Because now if somebody said that to my face, I would laugh. Like, I'm one of the most selfless people that I personally know. And I've been told that also by multiple people in my life that are close to me, that know me better than my own mother does. But the reason I bring that up is because I think selfish can be a term of endearment if we let it. It can be something that when we are selfish, right, we are more internally focused. We are more focused on the self. And I feel like you're somebody that would never be selfish in a derogatory way. And it might even be hard for you. You feel like it's difficult for you to actually be selfish when it comes to yourself. But I say that because though you are being asked to share, of course, I don't know why it just came in so strongly with this love where you are card, but use your sensitivity to know when to act. Connect your heart to your head when determining what you would like. I feel like it's almost like you maybe have gotten a little disconnected from what it is that you want. Maybe you got a little lost in the sauce, so to speak, which is very easy in today's world with all the modern technology that we have. It's very easy to get disconnected from what we originally wanted. And Spirit is saying that it's time for you to reconnect with what you actually want. It's time to be a little more selfish, a little more self-focused, and to let yourself take that time selfishly. And with shared inspiration, throw yourself into a new project, be willing to let go of time constraints and rules, and really be aware of whatever fulfills your heart. So I think it's interesting that both of your cards are about like finding fulfillment, allowing yourself to feel fulfillment. And I feel like maybe you haven't asked yourself that question recently. What is it that you would actually want? And I'm going to tell you right now, do not tell me that you don't know. Do not tell me that you don't know, because I honestly feel, and I'll speak from my own experience, because that's the only lens that I have aside from when I channel here. I believe that when we say we don't know, not that we don't know like a subject, right? Sometimes we really don't know something. Like, you know, if you're not a brain surgeon, like you don't know things about the brain. You know what I'm saying? Unless you've studied that. So sometimes we really don't know things, and it's very valuable to admit when we don't know. But that's not what I'm talking about. Have some nuance. What I'm talking about is when it comes to what you actually desire for yourself. Please do not tell me that you don't know, because here's what happens. When you say that you don't know, it's a cop-out. It's a cop-out because when we say we don't know, there's usually no follow-up. There's no, okay, I don't know, but let me reacquaint myself with myself and find out. Let me go on a fact-finding mission to find out. You never hear people say that. They'll just say they don't know, and then they don't take the time to figure it out. So don't let yourself off the hook like that. You were called to this reading to hear this, that you can't keep letting yourself off the hook with this. If you don't know what it is that you want from life, it is time for you to get very intimately connected back to life. So creating more experiences, letting yourself enjoy new hobbies, letting yourself explore, even if you feel like you're somebody that doesn't have money to explore a bunch of things, which I fully get and understand. Open up a Pinterest account. It's free to join Pinterest, and notice the images that draw your attention. Pin them to a board. This is to me one of the easiest, most free. If you're here watching this video, you obviously have an internet connection and some way of getting it. So right there, you already have access to something that some people in the world don't. But if you're watching this video, I can almost guarantee that you probably have access to Pinterest too. You could have access to Pinterest too. And that to me is one of the most easy ways right now that you could get more acquainted with yourself, is seeing what actually tickles your fancy there. What actually looks good? What foods look good? What experiences look good? What quotes resonate with you? This is something that back in 2021, I feel like I really deeply lost my sense of self during that time. I went through a major mental health episode, and I feel like I had really lost who I was. I was so panicked and worried all the time. And that was what brought me back to myself. Was I would actually keep a list on my phone, and this might be something that you try if you feel disconnected from yourself. Keep a list on your phone of things that pique your interest. I would literally keep a list on my phone anytime something brought me joy or a smile, or I liked it, or it tickled me in some way. I would be in the car with my husband, and we'd be driving around housing developments just for fun. And I'd be like, oh, this is something that is so me. Not everybody in the world would do that for fun, but I do. I love looking at housing and architecture. I think it's so fun. I love looking at home decor. I love the season of autumn, clearly. I had sushi with my spouse during that time, and I was like, oh my God, sushi is so good. I love sushi. That is something that is so me. Even though tons of other people love sushi in the world, That's what I mean. When you pull on your sense of self, it's the things that bring you joy and the things that bring you wonder and curiosity and fulfillment. And if you don't know what those things are, there are ways of getting reacquainted. It just might take a little bit of time. And Spirit is really calling you to pay more attention to yourself, pay more attention to that, and to stop letting yourself off the hook and saying that you don't know what you want, because you can't build. And maybe that's the problem, right? Is that you tell yourself you don't know because you're actually scared of either receiving it or you're scared of the work it's going to take to get there. But what's more scary? What is more scary? Living a life unfulfilled and not ever reaching your potential, or living the life that you live, getting to live the life that you actually truly desire and getting to experience it all? What is more scary? If you imagined yourself at 95 years old today, looking back on your life, what would be more scary? What would you be more regretful of? I'm not trying to freak you out because this is supposed to be a gentle message, but I feel like for you, I really want you to understand that like, obviously, maybe you believe in reincarnation, but like, you only get one life exactly as you are right now. And I think most people, if we look at two like elders that are closer to the end, those are the things that you hear that they regret the most, that they either cared too much what people thought and they wish that they would have done more things that they desired. Okay, we also have for you, stay in shallow waters. Sometimes superficial is enough. So I feel like you might have a sense of shame about being a little superficial or liking material things. And I have to tell you, you have come to the right person. You have met your match today, because I used to, and it probably had to do with like religious upbringing. I used to tell myself that it was like so wrong for me to like the bougie thing. Like I was not allowed to like the bougie thing, whatever that was. And I surrounded myself with people that were like extremely frugal, couldn't imagine spending money like that, talked about money in such weird ways, very limiting, very scarcity mindset. And don't get me wrong, I myself can fall prey to scarcity mindset. I'm human. I think we all can. But I noticed that this actually really limited me, and it made me feel like I was never seen. When, hello, I'm a Taurus. First of all, I'm a Taurus. Other Tauruses understand. We love luxury. It doesn't mean that it's all designer handbags. It could mean that you just love like a really nice meal. You might love having the extra luxury of like, for example, a luxury to me is a skincare fridge. I have a skincare fridge in my bathroom right now. That to me is a luxury that I know a lot of people don't have because they don't care to have it. I care to have it. Like little luxuries like that, or buying the nice skincare, buying the clothes that you actually want versus the knockoff version. Fashion always has a way of having a trickle down effect. And I feel like there's something about like you are afraid to let yourself desire because you're afraid of either what other people will think if you desire those things, or you're afraid. And I feel like if you've ever experienced shame for wanting what you want, I feel like that's where a lot of the times that stuff comes from. And think about it, flip it around. Think about me right now, sitting here, talking you up, validating you and saying it's okay to like what you like. Think about how much encouragement that gives you. Now imagine if you did that for somebody else. Like you living your life on your terms and how you want to and how you choose to use your money and how you choose to express yourself and show up in the world. What if that is the permission slip for so many other people to live that way too? Like, what a gift that would be. Instead of being like, oh, like I should just stay quiet because other people shame me for it and it's not right. No, it's not. Like, it took me a really long time to learn that lesson. So I'm just trying to instill in you that like, it's okay. It's okay to like the superficial thing. Sometimes superficiality is enough and there's no shame in it. Okay. We also have psychedelic frogfish, conscious filtering. What are you consuming? I love this card because Pile number 2 also talked a little bit about this. So if you felt called to pile 2, I would suggest maybe going back and listening to it. But there is something about you needing to kind of take a break from what you're consuming, whether it is music with negative messaging, whether it is the news with negative messaging. Granted, it's not always a privilege that everyone has. Not everybody right now has the privilege to turn the news off. Some people need that as a lifeline. But if you currently have the privilege in your life right now to turn it off, turn it off. You are not supposed to be exposed to things like that 24/7. It does something to a person. And even when it comes to music, I'm not saying we can't appreciate all forms of music. I myself love almost every genre. I feel like the only genre I don't really connect with is country. Personally, couldn't tell you why. It's just not my vibe. I don't hate it, but it's just not my vibe. But I pretty much like everything else. But if you're constantly listening to, gosh, it always brings me back to like being in high school. I'm about to age myself right now. But when I was like the lowest in my high school life at like 15 years old, girl, the way I would listen to the Evanescence CD that had My Immortal on it for hours. I would put this song on repeat, okay? Because I just was sad and I wanted to feel sad. Like I wanted to pack up and live there. And I would just do this and just be steeping in these negative feelings 24/7. And honestly, I think I learned really early on, because I'm very audio sensitive, that I actually really can't do a lot of really sad music because it starts to affect me. Like I start to become very sad if I listen to too much of it. And I feel like this might be something to consider for yourself. If there's a lot of TV or movies or music or news, anything that is like consumption for you, look at the underlying messaging of what you're listening to. And also, we call it spelling because we be casting spells with that. If you are speaking, when you sing music with words that have that like negative connotation, like the universe doesn't necessarily understand what intention you're speaking over your life and what you're just singing to. And this is why, like, whenever that song by Doechii comes on about anxiety, I turn it off. Like, even though I think it's a really good song and it's very catchy, like a masterful work, I refuse to listen to it because I am not going to sit here and perpetuate anxiety in my life. Like, nah, I don't play with myself like that. I'm too audio sensitive and I will do it to myself. So that's what I mean when I say, like, maybe you're somebody that has a lot of sensitivity to media, messaging, and that was just one example from my own life, but you might be really sensitive to some things, and it's okay for you to filter those things out. If you have the privilege of doing so, exercise your right to have that. And it's not about being disconnected and creating a vacuum and never reinforming yourself, but you were never, ever, ever, ever supposed to have access to media the way that we do right now. When things are happening on the other side of the world, we used to have to send letters and papers, and like you would find that information so slowly and have so many different days that would stretch in between where your nervous system wasn't dysregulated. And now it's like every minute something new is happening and we're in this constant state of fight or flight and being dysregulated. And it's really important that you have boundaries with these things. I'm saying this to you this way because it's something that I really feel like if everybody had better boundaries with what they consume, media-wise, we would live in a totally different world. And I think it would be one that would be a little bit more peaceful. So, I know that all of us like to believe that we're not impressionable or we're not, what's the word I'm looking for? That we are not influenceable. But I hate to break it to you. Every single person on the face of the planet is influenceable. You and me, we are all influenceable, and like really pay attention to what is influencing you and like start to set up some boundaries there. Okay. We also have for you the card of transformation. I don't know why there we go. It's a little blurry. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So Spirit is saying that right now, if you really pay attention to this message that you've been given and actually change these things, it will help you to generate healing on a cellular level. Sometimes things have to reach the cellular before they reach like the physical reality, like your day-to-day life and your external world. But know that if you pay attention to this and like heed this, especially with filtering and having boundaries here, you're going to create so much more peace and healing in your life. Okay. I also am going to be doing a little bit of bibliomancy for you. So we're going to flip to a random page and then read the message that we get for you. We got 2 short ones, so we'll do them both. We got page, let me read that closer, 38 and 39. This is from Ceremony by Brianna Weist. And it says, I wonder if the tree ever fear the rain won't come. Sorry, let me read that again. I wonder if the trees ever fear the rain won't come. I wonder if they would count each cloud, recall all the times it rained prior, or trace each route as it gradually dried, each route as it gradually dried, wondering and worrying. Will the storm come again and heal me? Of course, the trees are far more advanced than us. They have no such concern. The river of life never stops flowing, and it flows through us and into all that we need. And then we have, when I was young, I was so angry, wanting everyone to be just like me. Now I sit, tilt my head back and laugh, as though the cypress demands the cedar spread its thistle wider, not realizing they are all evergreen. Oh, why does that make me kind of want to cry? I want to read that one again. Okay. Sorry, book people, don't hate me. I definitely destroy my books. When I was young, I was so angry, wanting everyone to be just like me. Now I just tilt my head back and laugh, as though the cypress demands the cedar spread its thistle wider, not realizing they are all evergreen. What a beautiful message about humanity right now, too. Okay, that is the reading I have for you, pile number 3. All right, pile number 4, if you chose the Let Your Personality Shine card, this is going to be your reading. And it says number 33, first of all, which might be a spiritual symbol for you. It says, you have something no one else has that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. And then we also have looking at the underbelly, and it says, be sure that you are using your time in the best possible manner. You might consider taking time to organize yourself, or perhaps a project you are working on could use some fine tuning. Okay, so I really think the message that I'm getting for you right off the bat, pile number 4, is you need to take some time to actually let yourself plan. Now, don't get me wrong. I think living by the seat of your pants is really fun. Okay. Girl, I'm a Sagittarius rising. I feel like we love to do things spontaneously. However, like Sag to me is down for anything. But what I'm really getting is right now, I think you have been either really unfocused or focused on the wrong thing. And the reason I say that is because first and foremost, whatever you're working on, you are the secret sauce. Okay. And I think somebody here just really needs to hear that. You are the secret sauce. You are the thing that makes it special. Let me give you an example. My tarot card readings, they are a little bit different because I am a story healer, meaning that I use the power of my stories, my vulnerability, my authenticity, as well as being psychic to give you messages that will hopefully, if they resonate with you, they will allow you to feel seen and heard and like allow you to feel a little more understood because maybe we've gone through similar things, or using the analogy of storytelling, it can also unlock things in other people. Like it can allow you to feel seen and heard in ways that you haven't before. So that said, allow me to tell you what I mean by this. In my neck of the woods, obviously I'm a YouTuber. I'm here making content all the time. And in being a YouTuber, it is so easy to look at people that are more successful than me on this platform and go, gee, I want to be more like that. Maybe I should do what they're doing and then I can be more like that and I can have that level of success. And I have done this, my friend. I have done this so many times, more times than I could ever want to count. Okay. Being a YouTube tarot card reader is not my first business that I've ever started. I was in the gaming industry for 7 years. I had a relatively successful career, but I also fell prey to this, where I would look at what everybody more successful was doing than me. And I get it. Like, if you can't beat them, join them. I definitely think that sometimes that is like a positive angle. But here's the thing. If you get so lost in trying to gain traction, trying to gain an audience, trying to gain what somebody else has, that you forget that your personality and how you would do it is what makes you so special, is what makes people want to pay attention to you. I feel like maybe we got 2 content creator piles this week, because when I think about personality, I always think about content creation or product creation or small business owning, and what makes it so special, what makes it yours and makes it special. What is something that, like, for example, me reading tarot cards. Yeah, I've used crystals before. I've used candles before. Candles, I think, were my first big thing that I didn't really see anybody else doing back in the day. If you've been here a long time, it's too hot right now in the summer to do candles, and I will bring it back eventually in the cooler months. But I used to do little spell candles, little chime candles for every pile, and I would light them, and like you could set intention over those candles during the reading. And sometimes we would get like flame messages that would come through. It's really cool. Like, I think it was such a great inspired idea. It's what like gave my channel some virality. But that's not to say that I've never seen anybody else do it. I do think that I was the first person that I saw do it, but maybe somebody else did it first and I just didn't see it. My point is, that was something that set my channel apart. That was something that made my channel different. Right now, I got this little fireplace going on the screen. Do you see anybody else doing that? That is something that is part of me and my personality and my aesthetic and what I do. I identify as a story healer. I'm very open about that. I don't hear anybody else talking about that in the tarot niche. I'm not telling you these things because I think that I'm so significant and you need to pay attention to me because of that. I'm trying to prove the point that I could do it like everybody else. And that doesn't mean that I wouldn't be successful, but I want to do it in my own way. And whatever you're doing, you need to bring your personality into it. You know, Chloe Taylor, she is the cozy autumnal queen. Okay. That is like my angle. That is what makes my branding special, is I'm really into that. And I feel like for many a time, I have gotten far removed from that and I've forgotten about it. And the times that I feel the best about what I'm making, it's when I'm really in my element, adding in the aesthetics and the things that I love. So think about this for yourself with whatever you're creating, whatever you're doing. Where is your flair and where is your personality? Even if you have a desk job or you work from home, what is your surrounding office that you're in or cubicle encompass? Is your personality there? Is your special stamp there? If you have like an email signature where you work, is your email signature personalized to you? Right? This is what I mean. How can you make the mark yours? And looking at the underbelly, the reason I said maybe you're focused on the wrong thing is it's like you need to take some time out for yourself to really examine this, to examine if you've gotten lost in the sauce, if you've paid too much attention to everything outside of you versus paying attention to what is inside of you, your personality and what makes you you, because that is the thing, right? That is the thing. That is the secret sauce. And you've got it, babe. You just need to access it more. Okay. We also have think outside the box, which I think is so funny because I feel like it's really on par with what we're talking about. You have yet to discover valuable tools. You know what? I'm going to roll a dice. We didn't do this in the other readings, but I want to know where this tool is going to be. Like what is it that you need to be accessing? So we're going to use an astrology dice really quick. Okay. We got Capricorn. So this to me tells me, and oh, sorry, let me actually show it to you. This to me tells me with Capricorn popping out like that Capricorn to me is like very successful, driven, motivated, possibly an entrepreneur. I would say like Capricorn does have like big entrepreneurial energy. Not always though. I don't think that that's always Capricorn, but they tend to want to self-govern. They want to like do it their own way, be their own boss. And I do feel like this is where you need to be thinking out of the box. Even if you're somebody that has a boss, if you're looking to advance beyond that, how can you take it to the next level? How can you think outside the box to get there? And with thinking outside the box, also in the Capricorn sector, to me, this has to do with like thinking outside of the box in terms of your long-term goals. So your long-term goals, where you see yourself going, what you see yourself doing, where you see yourself in the next 10 years, even 5 years or 3 years, I think is a good like jump ahead to look at. But I feel like right now you might be feeling a little bit aimless and directionless, and it's because you need to carve out time to actually let yourself think about it. Okay, we also have the card of the Siamese fighting fish. Is that what that says? I think so. Your commitment is everything, even if that requires doing it alone. So staying committed to your vision, staying committed to what it is that you set forth to do, because if you haven't reached that highest potential yet, then you're not done. Like, you're not done. It's not over. It's not too late for you. And I think you also just need to hear this. Like, it is not too late for you. You still have what it takes. Okay. And then we also have the Age of Light for you, which says you've been training for this for lifetimes. Ooh, that's such a powerful message, that if you've been training for this for lifetimes, to me, it's like maybe you've had past lives where you didn't achieve the success that you were hoping to achieve. And like, this is the lifetime where you are meant to achieve that success. Because when I roll a Capricorn to me is someone that is more success focused. So no matter what that looks like for you, honestly, I almost want to roll another one. Let's roll another one just to see if we can get something else a little more specific. Oh, okay. We got 3. 3 is such a powerful number in spirituality too, because it can, it's the Holy Trinity, right? It's also the Maiden, the Mother, the Crone, the Goddess triplicity. It is the past, present, future. It is the, 3 is just, it is such a powerful number. And 333 also might be something, might be a symbol for you. Spiritual symbol. Oh yeah, because you got 33. How funny. I was just about to say there was another pile that got that. No, girl, we're in the same pile. 3 is also the number that corresponds to Gemini. This doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be a Gemini or have Gemini placements, but this tells me that you're meant to be using your voice a little bit more. Gemini rules the hands, but it is in their ability to communicate effectively that they really shine. And I feel like this to me is about you using your voice in a big way, whether it is in your line of work, creating something new. Maybe you want to make music or podcast or sing, or, I guess making music and singing, you could put those in the same genre. Maybe you want to be somebody that does interviews, or you want to be like a caster of some kind, right? Not a podcaster, but oh my gosh, I can't think of the word for it. Like a news anchor or something, or not even a news anchor, but somebody that presents, a host for something. I get the sense that you need to be using your voice a little bit more, and it's not, you don't need to tamper down your voice to be professional. It's okay to be your wild, crazy self. That is the stuff that people are going to be more attracted to, is if you're being yourself and you have your own angle versus trying to sound so polished and posh and professional. You get me? Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to your bibliomancy. I don't know why for your reading, I feel so out of breath. And I have not felt that way with anybody else's reading today. Your pile, I'm just blah, 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 blah. Maybe you are a Gemini. Maybe you're a fast talker. Okay. For you, we're going to read both of these. We have page 61 and 62. No, I'm sorry, 62 and 63. And it says, in stillness, you receive guidance. In effortlessness, you know what's right for you. In serendipity, you find what's on your path. In acceptance, you receive everything there is. And then in the second one, you did not come here to be perfect. You did not come here to smooth out every line and crease of your heart. You did not come here to step in perfect succession, with one milestone preceding the next, forever onward, until you arrive at death right on time, having bothered as few people as possible. This is not what you are here for. This is not what you came here to do. You were not born to rush through your becoming just to reach the other side. You were not born to be instantaneously perfected, but to piece yourself together slowly over time. And that is the reading I have for you.